RostyMaths, and welcome back to another RostyMaths video, and welcome back to our Year 9 series on algebra. So as you can see, we're getting through the series quite quickly now. Pretty soon, well, in this series of videos, we're going to be hitting the halfway point. So stick with me to make sure that you are fully up to date on everything that we are doing. Everything highlighted we've done already. I'll put a link just up here right now with a link to the playlist that you can just go over any other video that you might have missed, or in other words, just type the name and RostyMaths and it'll come up. Anyway, we are now going into solving equations in Year 9, and so yeah, join me on this journey. We have a series of equation solving right up to simultaneous equations before we move on to something new. For now, let's jump straight into solving equations. Before we continue, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so you will know as soon as a new video has landed. Okay, so here are our first 4 questions. Well, not first four questions. These are going to be only 4 questions. We are going to use a method called a balancing method. And the reason why I teach the balancing method is because it works every time you want to use it. Some people also might use a bar modeling method, or they might use a function machine method, but I won't otherwise use it. I like the balancing method. I think it's more usable as questions get more challenging. Let's jump straight into the first one. So on the first question here, you see that we have got that x add 9 is equal to 12. Now we're going to solve these. These are equations. If you revert back to my first video in algebra with collecting like terms, you will learn that we have expressions, we got functions, and this is an equation. You can solve an equation, you can't solve an expression. You can only simplify an expression, okay? So that's really important that we know that. Anyway, let's go and solve this equation. So if I'm using the balancing method, the quickest and easiest way is to get rid of this 9. I want x to be on its own, so I'm solving for x. That's what it means. It means that when I'm finished, I must have x on one side and a number on the other side, and that's it, solved, okay? So right now what I've got is x add 9 on the left side and just the 12 there. So in order to find x, find out what x is, I will subtract 9 from both sides. Now obviously if you're pretty clever with your numbers, you might literally go, hang on, 9 plus something equals 12. That has to be 3, and you'd be right. Yes, you will be right, and that's the quickest way to do it, to be fair. But I'm showing you this method because when things get more challenging and you can't do that, then at least you have a written method to help you out. Okay, why did I take away 9? Well, the reason why I took away 9 is because I'm going to use the inverse operation. Okay, now we covered inverse operation when we did rearranging formula or subject of the formula. I'll put a link to it right here if you need to go back over that. But inverse operation is what we need to do. The operation here is adding. The inverse or the opposite of adding is subtracting. So then rather than add 9, I subtracted 9. And this is how the balancing method works. You have to do it on both sides. So if I subtract 9 here, I have to subtract 9 there. So what will end up happening is 9 subtract 9, that becomes 0, so that cancels out. And when it becomes 0, it means that x is now on its own. And then on the right hand side, 12 take away 9, that's going to be 3. And this is now finished. So x is equal to 3. This question is solved. Okay, let's go on to the next one and see what's going on. I need to find x. But x is being multiplied by that negative 5 over here. So I need to get rid of this. And notice what I've said. It's multiplied by the negative 5. So the inverse operation of multiplying would be to divide by negative 5. Like that. Okay? So we divide by negative 5. That's the opposite of multiplying. These will cancel out and become 1. And just like that, x is now on its own, and then 50 divided by negative 5 is negative 10. Okay, I hope you know your negative numbers and how they work. If you don't, click on the pop-out banner up here and go and watch my video on negative adding and subtracting, multiplying and dividing negative numbers. I'll put the one for multiplying and dividing negative numbers. But that one is now finished. Okay, last two then. So the last two we've got, now the first two we've done, those are one-step equations, okay? And the reason why it's called a one-step equation is because I only needed to do one calculation to get my answer. So on this one, all I needed to do was subtract 9. On this one, all I needed to do was divide by -5. But on the ones down below, those are two-step equations. Let's jump down into question 3 now. So in question 3, let's see what's happening with my question. I have got 8x add 10 equals 66. So the last thing I did was add 10. So the first thing I'm going to do is take away 10. I'm going to say that again nice and slow so you don't miss that, okay? I've got 8 times x, then we add 10, and then my answer is 66. I'm going to work backwards now. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract that 10 using inverse operation. And when I take away the 10s, these 10s here will cancel out. So I'll be left with 8x on the left-hand side and 66. Take away 10 is going to be 56. All right, that's step 1. Now I'm going to finish off with step 2. Now this looks exactly like the one we've just done in number 2. So in order to get rid of that 8, I have to divide by 8 on both sides. When I divide by 8, the 8 will cancel out there. And then my final answer, x is equal to 7, because 56 divided by 8 is 7. And that one is finished as well. I hope you're getting something new. I hope you're learning something new. If you do, then this is a good time to give the video a like. Okay, let's do the last question then. Another two-step problems, and I'm going to say it out again, okay? So 2 times x divided by 5 equals 6. That's 2 times x divided by 5 equals 6. So the last thing I did was divide by 5. The inverse operation for that is multiply by 5. So the first thing I'm going to do is multiply by 5 on this side, multiply by 5 on that side. These two 5s will cancel out because it's like 5 divided by 5 in the end. And so now I have 2x left on the left-hand side and 30 on the right-hand side. And that's because 6 times 5 is 30. Let me just use my pointer. 6 times 5 here is 30. And these two 5s cancel out, leaving me with 2x. And same as we did just above it, we're just going to divide by 2, divide by 2. These 2's will cancel out, and x is now on its own, and it's equal to 15 because 30 divided by 2 is 15. All right, guys, and that's the end of this very short video on solving equations. These are simple equations, so really easy to solve. Once you get your head around this, we're going to be using these methods to solve harder equations as we go along. Look out for the next video on that. That's the end of this one, guys. If this video was good for you, you understand, you know, it made a difference in your life, please give this video a like. Don't forget to subscribe below, and don't forget to click that notification bell. So as soon as a video comes out, you'll know. I tend to push out a video every day, so make sure that you're keeping up with that. But for now, until I see you on the next one, peace.